My name is Sandy, and I work for a task force for ending homelessness.
How you guys doing? My name is Purnell. I came from this program. I was homeless back in 2012, and point in time count was part of my history. So every year I try to give back and I try to help because it does work. So
What is the point in time? The census of persons experiencing homelessness in Broward County in a 24-hour period. The results for the count help federal, state, and local government agencies understanding the scope of homelessness and housing issues of Broward County. The count is a yearly requirement by the Department of Housing and Urban Development for service funding purposes.
okay, who is considered homeless or at risk for homelessness? Unsheltered homeless are considered living on the streets in cars, camping in abandoned housing buildings. Sheltered homeless are considered living in transitional housing, emergency shelters, or in a hotel, motel paid using a voucher. And then you have the at-risk, which are doubled up or couch surfing or facing eviction within a week.
Where will headquarters be located? The North Region Broward Outreach Center, Pompano, which covers the commercial in the north area. The Central Region Broward Partnership for Homeless in Fort Lauderdale covers the State Road 84 in the commercial area. South Region Broward Outreach Center, Hollywood, covers the State Road 84 in the south area.
Has anyone ever done the count before? No. Where y'all been? No, I'm just joking. Okay, who will you be serving? Homeless, of course. Individuals considered to be unsheltered either in encampments or day sites or meal sites, libraries, etc. Every location has a team captain, and part of their job is knowing where to send you at what time. There are a lot of locations, like there's a location right up the street from us here, Jubilee. Between 11 and 1 they serve lunch, and so you get a lot of people there at that point in time. So there's a lot of different sites that we're aware of, but if you see somebody when you're driving around or whatever, you can give it a shot.
How to approach people you want to survey. Of course, you're going to introduce yourself, and you're going to explain the purpose of the point in time count. You're going to answer the questions and any concerns that they may have. Ask if they have already completed the survey, and that's really important because a lot of times the incentives that we give out for them doing this survey, they want them, and you can't blame them for wanting another bus pass or wanting another pair of socks. But if you see them with the bag that we've already given out, then try not to survey them again. If the person refuses to take the survey, respond to his or her concerns and respect his or her rights to refuse.
Right, you're going to be doing, some of you might be working early in the morning, and there might be some people asleep. I don't suggest that you shake them to wake them up. I suggest that you try to get their attention verbally, because they have this thing where when you're homeless on the street, and I can vouch for it, a lot of things happen when you sleep. You're at your most vulnerable point, and so you can wake up very disturbed. So we don't want people bending down, trying to touch them, and things like that, because you don't know what's going on in their situation. Okay.
And so since you all haven't, this is your first time doing it, we're going to do a little role play to show you guys, how it really is out there, kind of.
She makes me do this.
Hello.
Ma'am, how you doing?
Hello.
How you doing?
Just fine.
Okay, my name is Purnell, and I'm with the point in time count. Are you familiar with that?
No, never heard of it.
Okay, what we do is we come out once a year, and we try to get a count so that we can get you better services. Are you interested in helping us with this by taking a survey?
No, I'm not interested. I'm not homeless.
Okay, can I ask you one more question? Okay, we also have like some incentives for the people that are homeless, so if you see anybody around, can you let them know? We have like socks, toothpaste, bus passes, if they need it, and just let them know.
You have bus passes?
Yeah, we have all-day bus passes for those taking the surveys.
So tell me a little bit more about that survey.
Okay. So that's kind of how it works. We don't want to pressure them into it, and we don't want them to make them seem like all they want is what we have to offer them. Because we generally trying to help.
Excuse me. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to startle you. My name is Sandy, and I'm here to do some surveys, some homeless people in the area. Do you know any homeless people in the area?
I'm homeless.
You're homeless? Oh, well, do you mind if I do a survey on you? I have some incentives that we would like to give you for your time. I have some socks and some bus passes and maybe a hygiene kit if you're interested in doing it.
Okay, that sounds
Is that fine? All right, thank you. All right. So that was easy, but sometimes when you're really in this situation, it can be a little bit more difficult. So you have to kind of put yourself in their shoes because you have to, we're waking them up at 5 o'clock in the morning. So we're startling. So you have to kind of be nice and try to let them trust you a little bit.
There's a reality that a lot of them are already aware of the incentives. A lot of them are already aware that we're coming. And so a lot of them are going to want to do it more than once. And there's nothing wrong with that. When you're homeless, trust me, your objective is to stockpile. And so it's not something that we fault them for. It's just that if you see them with a bag or you see them with some of the things that are incentives, and some of them will say, well, I didn't take the survey, but somebody else just gave me the socks, because a lot of times they don't want some of the stuff. They only want particular things. If they say that, just, if they say it like that, just do the survey anyway. If they say they didn't take it and they haven't used it. Okay, dues for the pig count. Ask every question exactly the way they are written and fill out the answer accordingly. Do not skip questions. All right, keep the conversations on track. And if the weather is cool, it's best to layer a long sleeve shirt under your pit shirt. There's going to be a lot of people who like to carry their hand creams and stuff. Please don't, wash your hands in front of them after you finish talking with them or you shake their hands. Keep your voice and body language neutral. If a participant refuses a question, make sure to mark the refuse box. If you do not find persons experiencing homelessness at one or more of your point locations, please continue to search. You are not restricted to just the points on the map. If you see someone try to conduct an interview, and I always try to tell people this, there are a lot of people out there that are homeless for different reasons. If a person wants to talk to you, but they don't want to talk to you here, they want you to come around the corner with them, please don't go. Stay with your group. Try to stay where everybody is together. It's not that, and I don't like to think we have bad people out there. I just like to think there's bad situations, and people have grown accustomed to their situations, and they don't see it as wrong. They just see it as surviving.
Don'ts for the point in time count. Never promise that the survey will result in a particular course of action. Avoid assuming an answer. Always ask for clarification if you are not sure. Do not leave your teammates. Do not disclose survey information to others. Confidentiality is very, very huge. It's important not to disclose any information that they tell you.
It's very important not to promise anything or to even give them the impression that you promised something. So you have to be careful that what you're saying is specific, because they hear by necessity.
Avoid assuming the answers. So let's say you meet up with a client and they say that they slept at mom's house last night, right? So you're going to kind of go in depth a little bit more. You're going to ask a little bit more questions because you're trying to see if they're chronically homeless while doing the survey. So you're going to ask them, so you slept at mom's house, did you sleep on the couch? Did you sleep, where did you sleep? Did you sleep on the porch, or did you have to sleep in the car? Because that is going to verify their chronicity, okay? But never, 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 never assume that you already know the answer just because you answered one question on the survey. Okay?
that also states condition too. If you encounter a veteran during the count, immediately call the contacts that will be listed on your volunteer checklist on the day of the count. Please ask the veteran where they will be 20 minutes after the survey so that we can ensure that the outreach team will be able to find them. Now, when I say we have resources for them, that is not to say that I'm telling them that I have an answer for them about what's going to happen 20 minutes from now when they meet with them. Because they're going to want to know what's going to happen. Like, am I going to get housing? Am I going to get this? Am I going to get that? My suggestion is you let them know that the person that contacts you can answer your questions for you. Okay?
Another thing too, never promise them anything, but if it takes you giving them another bus pass for them to let you do that survey, it's okay to give them another bus pass. What survey will we be using? We'll be using a combination of two surveys for the point in time count. The county survey, the VS-BDAT, the county survey, which is the 2-page survey, is required by HUD to determine the scope of homelessness. The VS-BDAT is the 3-page survey and is used to prioritize housing for the people you survey. We need to make sure that they sign this VS-BDAT, okay? Because it happens. But just try to go as slow as you possibly can when doing these surveys because they can walk away, you can do all the information, and if they don't sign it, then we just can't use it because, how do we know that they did it? Sure that they sign the VS-BDAT before you walk away from them. Do not ever let them fill it out themselves. It has to be from you.
Also, the youth forum. The county is looking at youth as from 25 and under. If you get to one and you find out they're under 25, it doesn't take a lot to transfer over.
And they may say they have children too, but their children are with grandma or something like that. And sometimes more than likely if they're homeless and they're a family, they're already in Service Point and their children are already there, but still fill it out as much as information as you can as a family. The key sections to fill out. So point location is very, very, very important. If you don't know the point location, you can ask your driver or your leader that's with you, your site captain. If you don't know it, you can always come back to where you came from in the beginning, either the north, south, or the central. And you can ask anyone there to help you, and they'll be able to help you. But get as much information as you can filled out, like the date and the name of the person you're make sure all that stuff is filled out because that's very, very, very important. You'll also have a copy of these on the back with you. You'll have a sheet of people who to contact, so you'll be prepared, really prepared when you go out there.
And Google helps too. Google. I'm from up north, so when it comes to maps, I'm like, okay, that just looks like a big blur, right? Because I'm used to going this way and then going that way, or jumping on the train or the bus. So I don't really understand maps, but I know how to read a street sign. Okay, turning in the surveys. Once you return to your headquarters, please turn in your surveys to the person responsible for quality assurance. You must wait for the surveys to be checked before you sign out of the site. Now that's very important because they're going to be checking to see if anything got missed by mistake. One of the things that's going to be important is that if you did the survey, you'd be the one to turn it in so that if something's missing, hopefully you'll remember, right? But there are going to be some situations where the person you're with might have to leave and they give you their surveys. But you just let them know, well, these particular surveys were so-and-so's and I'm not sure about the answers. But the important part for you to be there while they're doing it is in case something got missed. And your memory is what's important to us at that point.
And before you leave, there's going to be some captains that's going to count every single one of and go through every single one. So if something's missing, they're going to catch it. So that's why we say while you're out there with the person that you're surveying to try to get as much as information, go slow. It's not a race. We want accurate information. So if you do miss something, then it will be easier to try to maybe if it was the date or something, that's, we can do that.
All right, what to expect during the count. Arrive at your pit headquarters 15 minutes early. Sign in with the volunteer liaison and receive your pit t-shirt and supplies. Receive your maps, routes from the site captain, and go count. Return to headquarters, turn the surveys into the Q&A specialist, and wait for them to be checked.
A special note for teams. Many of you have registered to be in teams with your friends, family, or classmates, but it's very important for you to be flexible. We're all working to have the most accurate count possible, so if a site captain needs you to make some adjustments, please cooperate. If you already have your teams, please consider riding to your point in time headquarters together if possible. And also, if we're still in need of drivers, if anyone wants to volunteer to drive your vehicle, we would truly appreciate that. Thank you for your participation. If you have not registered for a shift, please do so now. And if you have any questions, please feel free to let us know.
We will now go over the survey tools used for the Broward County point-in-time count. Some key points to remember are to ask each question as they are written, never assume, don't skip questions unless appropriate, respect the participant's right to refuse, and take your time. It is important to remember that this survey is a self-identifying survey, so mark each question according to the participant's response. For every survey you complete, please be sure to fill out the top portion of the form, which includes your name, the date and time, as well as the point location or address across street if a point location is not available. Point locations can be found on the maps provided to you by your site captain. For number 3, the last 4 digits of their social security number, if a participant is hesitant about providing this information, please reassure them that their responses are confidential and will not be shared with anyone. If they still refuse, leave blank and proceed with the survey. Number 4, what gender do you identify with? Although a participant may appear to be a certain gender, it is important to mark the gender that they identify with. Number 5, what is your date of birth? If the participant is unable to provide you with their birth date, ask them their age instead. Number 6, have you ever served on active duty in the U.S. Armed Forces? If the participant responds yes, proceed with the survey, then after they are finished, ask if they would be interested in receiving immediate help. If they respond yes, call the contact person on your volunteer checklist. If that person is not available, please collect contact information from the participant so they can be reached at a later time. Number 8, what is your race? If the participant identifies as multiracial, mark all races that apply to them. Number 9, where did you sleep Tuesday evening? If the response is place not meant for human habitation, emergency shelter, or safe haven, go to number 10. If it is any of the other responses, go to 9B. If they respond yes to 9B, proceed to 10. If they respond no, skip to number 18 on page 2, but be sure to mark NA for questions 10 through 17. Please note that if a participant responds that they stayed in a hotel or motel, you must ask if it was self-paid or paid using an emergency shelter voucher. If they paid using a voucher, you would select emergency shelter as a place they slept Tuesday evening. Number 10, how many times have you stayed on the streets in an emergency shelter or safe haven in the last 3 years? This can be a bit confusing. If a participant states that they have been homeless for 3 years straight, then you would mark 1 time. If they state that they were homeless for 1 year, then living with family for 6 months, now they are homeless again, that would be considered as 2 times. Number 12, what is the approximate date that your homelessness started within the past 3 years? It is important to try to get a date. Use questions like, what season was it when you became homeless, or who was president when you became homeless to prompt a response. Also, if they are not able to give you a date that falls within the past 3 years, for example, a participant who has been homeless for 10 years, write whatever date they provided you with. Number 18, what is your number 1 source of income? For this question, be sure to emphasize that we only need their main source of income. Number 19, what type of long-term disabling condition do you have that limits your mobility or ability to live independently? Be sure to read all options and mark all that apply. Number 28, does anyone else live with you? If the response is yes, ask the participant if they are head of the household. If they are not, ask them the head of household's information and fill out the appropriate box in number 29. The next survey is the Vulnerability Index and Service Prioritization Decision Assistance Tool, or VI-SPDAT. Please explain to the participant that this survey asks some more personal information about their living situation. Also remind them that they have the right to refuse responding to any question, and they can also stop the survey at any time. However, in order to proceed with the survey, they must sign the consent form. If they do not sign, we will not be able to use any of the information in the survey. The VI-SPDAT is very straightforward. Please ask all questions as they are written, and if you are unsure, ask the participant to expand on their response for clarification. But always remember, don't assume. There is also a survey titled Unsheltered Youth Survey. This survey is intended for youth under the age of 25. You can distinguish this survey because it will appear on colored paper. If you have any questions, please contact Shira at pitvolunteers@vrhpc.org. Thank you.